Good afternoon and good morning to everyone, depending on what part of the country you are in. This is Michael Britton. I'm the Executive Director for NALHE and also the President for the Wettrich Group based here in Atlanta, Georgia. And we will begin this webinar in about 90 seconds to give everybody ample time to get on. Thank you. Okay, everybody, we are about to begin, and as I stated earlier, this is Michael Britton, Executive Director for NALHE. A couple of housekeeping items. Q&A will be at the end of Sam's presentation, and you will type it in the message box on the right-hand side of your screen, and our project coordinator, Kim Rodriguez, will read the questions for Sam at the end. This is also being recorded. It will be on the NALHE website here, posted on our website this week under webinars at nalhe.org. It is my esteemed pleasure to introduce a huge expert in the area of AI, and that's Mr. Sam King. Sam is a seasoned healthcare executive, faculty, and consultant with over 30 years of experience in health IT, healthcare finance, big data analytics, artificial intelligence, and continuous quality improvement, serving in the C-suite, also as a Vice President of Analytics, Senior Director, and Director of Medical Healthcare Informatics. He is a faculty at UC Irvine School of Business and also at the USC and at University of Southern Cal Price School of Public Policy. Before Sam begins, I would like everybody to understand that this is a very high-level presentation on AI and a little bit rudimentary, but I can assure you you're going to find this so fascinating that it will leave many questions for you to pose to us at the end of the presentation. So without any further ado, Sam, I'll let you begin.
Thank you so much, Michael. Can everybody hear me? Michael, you can hear me, right? Just want to make sure my audio is good.
Well, it's good, Sam.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Michael, for your kind words. You make me look better than I am, actually. Thanks for the National Association of Latino Healthcare Executives for hosting this webinar. Like Michael alluded to that today, we're talking about an introductory discussion of AI and AI healthcare. So when we talk about AI, typically people think about a deep, technical, deep computing powered seeing, something look like this screen, that there's a mystery behind that. Nobody knows what's going on. Hopefully by the end of this session, you'll be able to take away some key concept in their application of healthcare and how they can disrupted healthcare. So that's our purpose of today's discussion. For those who happen to read this excellent book, The Fourth Industrial Revolution, authored by Klaus Schwab, who is the founder of World Economic Forum, a phenomenal book for an ordinary person to understand what's going on in terms of different phases of changes, evolution, revolution. As we understand, we have been through 4 industrial revolutions so far. In the 1700s, we have steam, water, mechanical production equipment. That is phenomenal change and revolutionary in so many ways. 100 years later, we have electricity. That brings up a tremendous amount of societal change, technological change, and of course, labor changes. Fast forward to 1960s, something drastically happened, which is computing, automation. Right? With that, we started Apollo mission. We started many things in our society that continue to last in the following decades. And at this point, we are experiencing what's called digital cyber revolution, which is the 4th industrial revolution. Now, if you notice, in between these 4 revolutions, the first 3 literally takes about 100 years to happen. In between the 3rd and the 4th industrial revolution, we're looking at somewhere 50 years. So the technology and innovation have been accelerated in such a way that we are seeing, never seen this before. And this is what we are leading up to the AI discussion. Most people use Google in some way, shape, or form. So the Google CEO predict that the last 10 years have been mobile first. The next 10 years, we're focusing on AI first. Gartner, which is one of the reputable, most quoted research company in the world, they're saying we're behind hyper right now. AI, along with data and analytics, are the top game-changing technologies for us. Okay. One of my favorite person and experts in AI and medicine is Dr. Anthony Chan, who is the Chief Intelligence and Innovation Officer at the Chuck Children's Hospital in Orange County in California. He is predicting that with the age of AI implementation now, we are moving at a speed. We're not just looking at a hypes, just looking at revolutionary aspect of that. It's not about why. It's not about why it's variable, why we use it. It's how we implement and how we continue to improve. So keep that in mind as we go through next 30, 40 minutes of discussion, and then we'll hopefully leave plenty of time for questions and answers. As you have been aware in so many decades, last few decades at least, the Moore's Law, technology and innovation has been accelerating. The price has been down. We have seen more powerful machines, powerful innovations coming through. We've seen devices like Amazon Echo. I'm sure lots of you are using. Alexa is the example, Siri the example, OK Google another example. So this is a fun stuff that I wanted to share with you. A couple of years ago in Dallas, a little girl who was excited because her mother just purchased an Amazon Echo, which is using Alexa. Right? Now, there's a little girl, she's 6 years old, and she likes to play dollhouse and want a cookie. So she was thinking, saying aloud that, can you play some dollhouse with me and get me a dollhouse and some cookies? So she's literally saying it. Well, 2 days later, a very luxury model of dollhouse was delivered to the doorstep to the tune of $275 and some cookies. So mother was infurious. Her mother's just very frustrated and furious about it. Why is that delivered to me when I didn't order it? It turns out that Alexa, a little device, played a role here. So this is the very common use of AI. We'll talk about what is kind of AI in seconds. We also see every day, every moment that we search a website, we're doing lots of photos, we're uploading to Facebook, to Instagram, to Twitter, and we're searching for those photos, right? So this is not something new to us, a typical daily use of AI in our life. AI has been widely reported, widely researched, and widely distributed in so many ways. But there's a difference as we go through this, why AI is more popular now, is more mature now than ever, right? So those are some of the popular and science magazines reporting and researching AI. You can see all over the place, from Time Magazine, News Magazine, to MIT Research, Nature, Science. Those are all the top science magazines. So today, I wanted to introduce some of the key concepts of AI. The purpose is to get you interested, get you further down the road to read more, to discuss more, and hopefully can apply in your strategic thinking and daily operation in healthcare entities that you are dealing with. So I wanted to start with 4 key concepts. Those are the key things that we talk about in AI. And if we understand it better, I think it will help us in further discussions, right? So the first one is artificial intelligence. AI. AI is a term that coined in 1950 by Professor John McCarthy. AI, in a sense, is to have machine, in layman's terms, to have machine do things for you as a human, which means machine is able to do a lot of things for us. So that's the initial concept of AI, initial definition of AI, okay, making machines do things that would require intelligence done by human, right? So AI help humans to do that. The second terminology I want to introduce today is machine learning. Okay. Machine learning is a field study that gives computers the ability to learn without being explicitly programmed. That means machine learning needs lots of data, algorithm, okay, can make predictions based on data. And we'll give lots of examples later on. The other concept that I'm talking about here is deep learning. Deep learning goes steps further than machine learning. Supersets machine learning in so many ways. So not only you feed data, lots of data, tremendous amount of data. In seconds, we'll talk about the relationship between AI and big data. Right? Many people are familiar with the concept of big data. So deep learning involves extracting value, doing algorithm, and doing a lot of classifications. Again, I'll give some examples later on. In other words, deep learning will give us even better prediction with research, with algorithm, with predictions. So a lot of people will ask, you're talking about AI, machine learning, ML, deep learning, DL. So what's the relationship? So we're talking about healthcare. So let me give you a healthcare analogy. If AI is a physician, machine learning is cardiologists. I use that example. So if I ask you, is all cardiologists physicians? We don't have a polling here, but you probably will answer yes, right? All cardiologists are physicians. But not all physicians are cardiologists, right? Same thing here in terms of relationship between AI and machine learning. All machine learning is AI, but not all AI is machine learning. I hope you take away that. Now, so what's the relationship between machine learning and deep learning? Going back to the analogy again, is healthcare. Pediatric cardiologists. You would agree that pediatric cardiologists are cardiologists, correct? Not many people will say no. But not all cardiologists are pediatric cardiologists, right? So that's a relationship between machine learning and deep learning. All deep learning is machine learning. Not all machine learning is deep learning. So I'm going to pause here for seconds just to help you understand that relationship. In other words, machine learning is subsets of AI, and deep learning is subsets of machine learning. And you're welcome to type in your questions and have our moderators read out to me, stopping anytime. You have to wait until the end of the discussion. All right, some of the technical aspects of machine learning and deep learning in particular. So you see different algorithms, you see different layers, and at the end of the day, you know, from a information commons all the way to a different knowledge network, and to help you in clinical medicine, in biomedical research, in other fields. Those are just healthcare related topics, right? So one thing I want to emphasize is related to the couple of slides in seconds. If there's one thing that we can characterize deep learning, that is, there's only been one AI breakthrough, according to a world-renowned expert, Dr. Lee, who is in this picture, right-hand side person. That's a deep learning. So deep learning is the one AI breakthrough in many decades. Again, we'll talk about in seconds why is that, okay? The fourth idea or concept is natural language processing. In layman's terms, natural language processing is to have computers or devices do the talking for you, be able to extract information when you talk to machine. Machine will talk to back-end computer, back-end algorithm to get information, right? So when I give you an example earlier on with Alexa, with Google, those are typical natural language processing. You ask Alexa, what is the weather today in Washington, D.C. or Dallas or Atlanta, right? What is the most popular show here? What is the traffic situation on their way to work? So those are using natural language processing, NLP, to extract information. So you don't have to type a program language typical in computer science or data science. You can just speak as if you were talking to a person. So that's the essence of natural language processing. Okay. All right. So when we talk about AI or deep learning, machine learning, how does a computer, how can a computer be able to recognize objects, to do things? So let me use this special graphics presentation to kind of help you understand. Right? So on the left-hand side, you have different objects. In this case, it's all the different animals. you see the computer, all sorts of animals were labeled. And this is a wolf, this is a cat, this is a dog, this is a cow. So the computer understands visually this is what it is that was labeled. Now you want a computer to understand and recognize each and every animal with a high probability, precision. So you would, in the first layer, you would go through the neurons. So humans have billions of neurons. A computer is imitating this neural network to extract information, to recognize things, to do computer vision. Right? So first layer is neuron. In that case, respond to different simple shapes like edges. Right? Different animals will have different edges. On the right-hand side, the higher layer. Higher layer is having neurons respond to more complex structure. The nose, the paw, the legs, things like that. Right? Then the next level or layer is called top layer. So neurons respond to highly complex, but it's also abstract concept. So we typically would identify as different animals. You see, in this case, different heights, the portions, all these different things. Then at the end of this whole identification algorithm and the process, you will say, oh, probably 90% I can say this animal is a dog, not a wolf. So that's when you search a website and say, give me something, a dog walking in the beach. That's how computer was able to identify graphics for you and be able to provide those images for you. Okay. Now, this is an easy thing for human, 0 to 9, 10 digits. But with the different situation conditions, this is a lot of noise in this particular sheet. A human being will be able to recognize, use a computer will be doing the same thing once you feed data, give them an idea what this particular letter or number or digits should be. In this case, this motion blur, same thing, humans were able to use it within the content to identify or recognize which digit is what. Computer doing the same thing. Next example is reduced contrast. Right? So it's very hard to see, but humans, again, will be able to see that using contextual framework. Computers will do the same thing, feed data, keep telling them what's going on, right? So let me blow this up a little bit. Is that a G? Is that a 6 or 0? We don't know. Could be either of them. As a human being, we will be able to see a certain person's handwriting, a certain content, and we'll be able to say, oh, this is actually G, not 6. Or this is 0, not G. When we feed data into computer, they will be able to go through algorithm, go through recognition, and put into content to say, oh, this is 0, not G. So my hope is to use this simple, recognizable example to give you an idea of how a computer will be able to do things like that. I tell you, recognize exactly content. A couple of things about machine learning algorithm. There's 3 types of machine learning. One's called supervised learning. This is talking about facial recognition, speech recognition, search engines, like Amazon. If you purchase something, Amazon will say, well, if you purchase this, you might like that. Or people who purchase this also like that. They make some recommendation, right? Weather forecasting is part of that. Unsupervised learning is customer segmentation, big data visualization, and discovery. The reinforcement learning is talking about robotics. learning tasks, and real-time decision, things like that. Okay. Talking about AI, I really want to point out a few things, myths and misconceptions. So there's something called artificial narrow intelligence, ANI, and also there's something called artificial general intelligence. The artificial general narrow intelligence is also called weak AI. That's about 99% of what we're using in terms of AI is artificial narrow intelligence, which is to perform a specific task, okay, repetitive tasks, specific tasks better than a human being. Things like automated driving, right? They can recognize obstacles, they can recognize road speed, and avoid collisions. So those are the typical narrow intelligence is about. Amazon Alexa, you ask Alexa to perform certain things. That's no AI or weak AI. The artificial general intelligence is also called the strong AI. Now that's a future we'll talk about probably 20 to 30 years out to be more applicable in our daily life. And this is where machine is smarter than human. Machine can do a lot more thinking and more function like a human being. So that's the future of AI. That's the reason why it's called a strong AI. Something that I want to bring up, many of you probably watched a very interesting movie called The Imitation Game, right? You'll be amazed by how smart this British mathematician is. So over the years, over the decades, there's such thing called a Turing test. Basically, the interrogator or some interviewer will determine which response is from computer, which response from human. So this has been going on for quite a while, and most recently, someone started this again in so many ways. So they want to see in different ways. They say, which word by which you can tell, the computer says that or human says that. Okay. In other words, if you were to tell which response is from human, which response from computer, what particular word will give you a secret. So you can see in this diagram, the bigger you can see the spotlight here, that purple ones and the pink ones, that means a lot more people think they're using soul, life, all these different love, for example, and there's others like humanity, compassion, emotion. Those are small, scared, frightened, hungry. Those are small percentage of people. Most people say soul, life. No. Interestingly, what wins this whole contest is the word called POP. Right. In other words, that's what sets us apart from machines. So it is human response, it is machine response. Okay. All right. So I mentioned a couple of times early on that there's certain things happening in the last few decades that make AI accelerating. So I wanted to briefly describe the timeline of AI. Okay. So AI, the actual starting point of AI is early in the 1940s with Alan Turing, those brilliant mathematician and a few others. But the actual AI application starts in the 1950s. Okay, so think about why is that? Why is 1950 is the decade of AI starting point? In 1950s, we have a big machine called mainframe. We have computing power now. You can imagine in 1940s, we don't have kind of computing machines. So in order to decipher Nazi Germans' code, we have to do something different, right? And for those who watch the movie, you understand, read the books, you understand how difficult it is to decide a particular code on a daily basis. So in 1950s, we have mainframe. That kicks off AI. Fast forward to 1990s, machine learning start off. And why is that? What is the characteristics of 1990s in terms of technology computing? We're looking at microcomputers, right? Mini computers. We're looking at PCs, Macs, and other devices, which is a lot more popular and much less expensive. So machine learning needs data. Earlier on, we'll talk about that. Therefore, the popularity and availability and affordability of computing power practically helped kick off machine learning in so many ways. Okay? Again, fast forward another 10 years, I put a deep learning here. Think about early this decade, right? 2010. What happened? We have iPhones for sure being out for a while. We have cloud computing, which brings down the cost at the minimum, almost nothing. And you can use world supercomputing power to do anything, and that's accessible to everyone, literally. So that's why deep learning is taking off rapidly in 2010s, barely 10 years, in the making. Right? So just want to make sure that we understand why AI is so popular. AI is also applicable now. Part of that is availability of computing power and the cost issues. We talk about cloud. Everything's cloud now. Cloud brings down computing cost, provides availability and accessibility. Okay, so these are some of the computing history in 1950s. You can see the size, the computing power changes. We all know what happened in 1970s at Apple versus Windows machine. So a lot of people have either iPhone or Android phone. Either way, what you have is more powerful than the 1969 Apollo mission, 1960s Apollo mission. This week, has happened to be Apollo, 40 years anniversary, right? 50 years actually. 1969 successful man landing. So you've probably seen a lot of celebrations there and documentaries there. I did mention that AI has a lot to do with big data. So what's happening? In this day and age, we know we generate tremendous amount of data on daily basis, whether it's from personal, from fitness apps, from your phone alone, and everything else connected to the device, whether it's computing, the refrigerator with a computing power with smartphone capability, so on and so forth. Anyway, this is a relationship between AI and big data. So big data giving ability for AI to do data mining, algorithm, machine learning, and in the process, these are generating additional data, and the cycle continues. Okay, so those are the very simple relationship between AI and big data. The reason that I'm interested in learning about AI is want to be at the cutting edge of technology and societal change, as well as understanding what is the impact on you, your organization, healthcare industry in general, and what we're doing, looking into the future. So I want to bring up this ESL versus ESL. ESL stands for English as Second Language. Our country is consisting of people from all over the world speaking different language. So a lot of people coming here, they need to learn English. English is second language. Right? it's a survival tool, just necessity. Well, the deal though is data is simple language. In this day and age, and continuing next decades, many years to come, data is second language is essential. Is English is second language is immigrants. So, is an executive, professionals, or someone just purely interested in AI? I want to keep in mind that data is second language is the key to your future success, or how you lead up your organization into next level. There's a life shifting in healthcare by way of AI and AI application. So a couple of things I want to bring up. One is most recently the White House issued an executive order called American AI Initiative, try to be more competitive in the world in terms of AI. Oops, what happened? Let me give a second. I don't know what happened. Give me a second. My apology. I don't know what happened here. That's weird. Michael, we have a little technology problem. I don't know why I only have a 60 slides here, so I'm going to pick uploading here. Can you hear me, Michael?
I can, Sam.
Yeah, my apology, everyone. I don't know what happened. We tested. So please bear with me. Okay, hopefully this will solve the problem. Okay, right here. All right. So, and the CMS, Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, they opened up a innovation center just about a few months ago, and seeking a new application for AI analytics, right? Also, try to boost clinical care and improve overall health patient health. FDA has created 12 algorithms spanning breadth of patient health. And for example, autonomous detection of diabetic retinopathy, IDX, and detecting AFib from a smartphone. Right? Amazon, tech companies, Google, Facebook, so on and so forth, this kind of thing. They have elastic interference in the SageMaker platform. Don't worry about those awkward naming. It's an AI platform for scaling and processing larger data sets. Okay, and Google, of course, has invested tremendous money in different AI projects. For example, DeepMind is very popular, Google Brain, and so on and so forth. Okay. All right. I wanted to bring up. Is there any questions, Kim and Michael, that I need to address right now?
No, not right now.
Okay. So I wanted to talk next few minutes about the AI's application out there. There's tons of them. I just want to bring up a few of them. First one is surgical robots. Okay, this surgical robots with AI capability can perform 0.03 millimeter needle. Now you understand that a human being cannot recognize distinct that kind of size. So, and this is being deployed in many healthcare hospital organizations. AI and voice recognition, voice technology, try to deploy it in a way you can enhance customer service. Alexa, Google, OK Google, different aspect of natural language processing. Dictation, for example, customer service using voice technology or natural language processing. Even write reports for radiologists or write an essay, or news reports. The third one is cognitive computing. You probably heard a lot in healthcare services. One example is, using in radiology or diagnosis. So we all know if we try to diagnose a particular disease or symptom, we want to make sure that specificity and the sensitivity is high, which means we don't want to have a false positive or false negative. If people have a disease, we want to correctly diagnose it. If people don't have disease, we don't want to mistakenly diagnose it. So in this particular example, it's called cancer, skin cancer. I'll draw up a little bit. So if you look at a blue line here, that means it's used by algorithms, computing algorithms, in other words, AI. The red and the green is done by human doctor, dermatologists. So basically, if you look at this graph, the further to the right and high up in the y-axis here, and further to the right is better. And you can see almost in every single cases, AI algorithm is doing better than human dermatologist. Okay, similar thing with kidney biopsy image. In this case, the other piece is if we can predict certain conditions or certain disease, we can save a lot of lives and improve quality, and also, of course, save money. One example is sepsis, right? Sepsis is a particular time window for you to be able to diagnose, treat. So many organizations are using AI to predict when sepsis will be occurring and be able to take action. So in the end, increase quality of care, save lives, and decrease cost. Autonomous aspect of AI, in this case, self-driving vehicle, everybody understands that. You can see in this particular model that will be manufacturing in the next couple of years, you don't see any steering wheels and brakes. Virtual reality is another big deployment and very maturing AI. You can be using virtual reality for medical education, for disease treatment conditions, things like that, and can perform a remote surgery. So early last year, a Chinese doctor who successfully performed a surgical operation using virtual reality 1,000 miles away from patients. Okay, precision medicine, we all know that by now. So is computing power increase the cost of the genetic analysis is coming down from $10 million barely 12, 13 years ago down to a couple $100. Next one is a doctor in a pocket or in hands. So imagine you have questions, you have issues, you want to talk to a doctor or nurses, and they're not available. So one of the deployment or advance in AI is you can have AI application in your pocket or in your hands, be able to communicate with AI, at least getting most of issues or questions answered before you can be triaged to a real human doctor. This particular application in Babylon has been deployed in UK and Dubai Health Authority in general application. So a few other examples, product monitor sleep, AI assistant type of thing, actually quantify self-diagnose, of course, talk about CT scan, skin cancer. You can do staffing, planning, help you understand the risk management side of that, and also chat box and revenue cycle management, prior auth, and also claim scrubbing, right? All these different things that are widely available in healthcare. All right. One of the things I wanted to make sure that I'm on the same page is AI is hot and very competitive. Right? So just two numbers, a snapshot of what's going on in terms of the investment in our country and in China. Within top tech companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, so on and so forth. For that particular time frame, our country only invested $1.7 billion. In the same period of time, just about similar situation, big tech companies in China invested $12.8 billion, about 10 times more. So we have to be aware of what's going on in the global racing on AI and make sure that as healthcare leaders and professionals, we can do anything possible to think through and think about AI in our daily application. This is a little bit out. The new version has not come out, but this kind of gives you an idea. I cannot really show too big of a thing, but let's hopefully this. You can see it's this right-hand side is late stage called a plateau of productivity, which is a very popularly deployed. To the left-hand side, that's early stages, right? So anywhere in between. You can see speech recognition, GPU, which is graphic processing units. Virtual reality are common and mature, whereas others, you look at human in the loop, crowdsourcing, AI developer toolkit, knowledge graphs, things like that, technology like that is not being widely available yet. So we want to make sure that we understand where a particular technology or platform is in this life cycle. And you can see machine learning is fairly popular now, natural language processing here in the middle. Okay, that means you have more fundings, more product functionality, and more applications. Of course, everybody's benefiting from people who invested in there and some people who are using that. I'm going to skip that one. One piece I wanted to communicate here or discuss here is, we are the age of AI, age of fourth industrial revolution. We're not just business leaders. We also need to be in analytical field, data science, how to analyze data, how to look at data. Back to what we talked about earlier on, data is a second language, right? Exactly correlated here. Further down, a smart person says healthcare is an information industry. Continue to think that it is a biological industry. So whatever we do, we save lives, we serve patients, we reduce cost, enhance life, quality of patients. We also have to think about healthcare industry is an information industry. Okay? Some people will say, well, those are top hard science. Algorithm, data science, everything. What do I have to do with it? I don't know a whole lot. You know what? You actually can make a huge impact. So look at this research. This is talking about who is actually initiating AI efforts in an organization. Right? The green one is percentage of people who initiate the AI who are not technology person. The blue one on the bottom is CIO, Chief Information Officer type of person, techie person. So you look at that, you say, wow, 59% of projects or efforts to initiate the AI is by non-techie person. Right? Could be CEO, COO, things like that. Another 59% is when they're making technology decisions are not done by technical people, by non-techie professionals or executives. Similarly, 65% people who approve the funding for AI projects are not technology. So overwhelmingly, you can think of that as almost 2-to-1 ratio. You know, AI projects, AI efforts are made by non-technology folks, right? And this is another, interesting anecdotal evidence saying Nokia chairman says everyone in Nokia should have basic understanding of machine learning, including himself. Right? So I'm going to spend the last couple of minutes before we turn into Q&A, is talking about the ethical and the policy implications. One, legal. Alexa, with those always 24/7 device and technology, someone's collecting a huge amount of data. In this case, is someone died in this household, and this household owner is being charged or suspected of murdering this person, and the police wanted to subpoena the Alexa record, Amazon Echo record, because as you know, to better use Amazon Echo, you want to turn that 24/7 off, right? And the police said if someone's going to murder someone, maybe they have conversation, they have to talk about that in the house, and that they try to use. So who is owning data? Who can, who has ability to get code of data that you have, digital footprints, whereabouts every single day, right? A person was fired in LA here by AI, and nobody can fix it for weeks. So who's controlling it? American Association really started to think about a year ago, what is AI implication of healthcare and and the practicing physicians. When the AI gets sued, or when AI performs surgical or other diagnosis or procedures, if there's a malpractice, who is going to sue who? Is it an AI machine? Is it the company who made AI? Is the physician? Is the hospital that use AI? Or AI itself? So nobody knows. Google has developed some basic principles for AI, social beneficial, so on and so forth. So every company is looking for that, being legally and socially responsible in using AI. Another typical example of what impact AI impacts the society. This is over 2,400 scientists signed the pledge to block lethal autonomous weapons. This is one of the areas they're very concerned about. And can AI be considered a person under the law? Is that a full legal rights, everything? And what is, how do we make AI more human? And would ever be an AI marrying a regular person, or regular person marrying AI? There's a lot of discussion about that. I don't know how this will turn out, but as a society, definitely we are in unprecedented cases like that. Job replacement, who is replacing what? This is one of the conferences I attended, and I wanted to tweet as like most about this conference. Will AI replace the physician? No, but the physician who knows AI will replace the physician who does not. Harvard Business Review came up with similar things about a year or two later, saying, will AI replace managers? The answer is similar. No, but managers who understand AI will replace managers who don't understand AI. Very similar, right? So AI is about making visible invisible and invisible visible. We are using technology to increase access, to improve patient care, decrease cost. Patients should, in essence, not be aware of what technology underneath is that. The focus should be treating patients and improve their lives. Another aspect of why we're looking at AI is healthcare organization or manager. We spend more than half the time doing the administrative side of that. On the left pie graph here, 54%. Right? So how can we use technology to, one is leave that administration to AI, whether it's claim processing, pre-auth, some other admin work, call centers, focusing on judgment work, on intelligent work, treat the intelligent machines as colleagues, you know, work like a designer and develop social skills and networking, right? So we know robots are here. They're going to replace lots of humans, as we see in the industry, like financial industry. We don't see a lot of tellers there in the banking industry, ATM and online banking and mobile payment is taking over all these aspects of that. But the World Economic Forum predicts that about 16% of workforce will be replaced by AI, and there's another estimation is about talking about 30 to 38% by 2030, which is merely 10 years from now. So, in order to counter these impacts, we'll have many institutions working their workforce training, development at universities, very first AI bachelor degree, and little school like MIT is investing $1 billion in AI college. Right? So, in other words, AI is a matter of survival. If we don't talk about AI, don't use AI, we are seriously in jeopardy of survival, and that leads us to think of what will be the life 3.0 look like. This is a great book, by the way, if anybody's trying to understand AI and the impact on society. This is a great book, not for techies, so most people will be enjoying that. And the other piece is, are we looking at AI versus machine or AI plus machine? Right? We work together. And a lot of people will agree that AI plus doctor is better than doctor. So I'm going to just stop over here. We have about 5 minutes for Q&As and see if there are any questions from audience. Thank you for your patience and for going through with me for the little glitch in technology.
Thank you so much, Sam. Yes, we have 5 minutes, everybody. I'm going to turn this over to Kim Rodriguez, who will read the questions that Sam will answer. Kim?
Good afternoon, everybody. You'll give us just another minute or so we can see any questions coming through.
We know this is a complex subject that it's hard to wrap your head around. I've seen and know Sam and have been around him for months, helping me better understand how AI will be changing our lives in a dramatic way. And this was a very high-level presentation, and once you got into the nuts and bolts of it, it will certainly blow your mind. And Sam has some great videos that he showed at our last summit at NALI that were beyond belief, to be quite frank. So, Kim, do we have any questions at this time?
No, Michael, we don't have anything coming in right now.
Hey, Sam, if you could comment real quickly. I know in the last presentation I saw you give at our summit in Florida was how AI is 90% of the customer service centers now, I think U.S. and globally, and how that's impacting customer satisfaction.
So thank you, Michael. It's a great question on people's mind. So when we talk about technology, talk about patient care, we look at, of course, the quality, access, and cost issue. Triple aim is something we talk about a lot. But when it comes to individual patients, we always want to get access at the right timing, in the right place, in the right moment, right? With the call centers, with applications like Babylon, you can have AI perform initial diagnosis, initial Q&A, and be able to be with you for at least substantial amount of period of time before you're being triaged to a doctor or healthcare professionals. So in that regard, patients felt less stress less frustrated. They feel like, oh, I have some information, now I get an answer. With the chat box and those technologies, natural language processing, even natural language generating technology there, you feel like you're talking to a natural person. You feel like you get answers you wanted, and you feel like you can trust. So, in essence, we need to trust technology. How do we gain trust? By providing reliable and consistent application of these technologies, so people can feel trusted. And one by one, they'll start using more. It's no stranger nowadays when you call centers in any industry, banking, technology support, or anything, you're dealing with mostly robots or machines anyway. When text them, most likely you're talking with a text to a machine. So those kind of aspects we need to be aware of.
Thank you, Sam. I have one more question from the audience, and I also have the same question of you. I have spent dinner with you. I've seen you live at a seminar. I have been out with you several different times, and we all want to know, are you a robot or are you a real live person?
POOP, Michael. So when machine becomes smarter than human, many people heard a word called a singularity. That's when machine is overtaking human being. And some people will say that's probably another 30, 40 years. There is dramatic changes. Now think about decades ago when you tell farmers in the U.S. that 90% of their job is going to be replaced, right? Which is what happened. What is percentage of farmers? Less than 10% in the U.S. At the time, you're telling people that more than, most of your jobs are gone. And we don't have any idea what the job will be like, what kind of thing you'll be doing. You think you'll be comfortable? I think we're kind of in the process right now. There are a lot of things we don't know, a lot of things we have no idea what will happen. The software industry is not there 100 years ago, right? There's nothing called the computing industry, software industry, service industry, not that popular either, mostly farmers. So I think we as executive healthcare professionals, we need to realize things will happen, things is happening, and we need to take that initiative in our daily strategic operation, daily operation strategic thinking, and think about how AI can be part of your friends. Remember, AI plus physician is better than physician. AI plus you is better than you. That's something that I like to have you take away. You don't have to be data scientist. You don't have to be AI expert. But understanding it, be able to think through it, and try to learn a little bit more, I think it's a good starting point.
I am confident in saying this to the audience that Sam spoke at the last Denali Summit in Orlando. I feel confident telling you that he will be at our Denver Summit in the next 8 to 9 months next year when we hold our 4th annual summit. And I can assure you this, I have seen this presentation. It has changed dramatically in the 4 months since I've seen it, and it will continue to change, every single day until we see Sam again. So reserve your seat now for Denali. Thank you, everybody, for participating. This will be on the Denali website here shortly. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me. Sam, thank you very much on behalf of everybody, and I certainly hope everybody has a great rest of their day.
Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.